Easter time, many Christians will celebrate the Jewish Passover meal known as a Seder meal. This has become a very popular custom in recent decades. And one of the reasons people find it so fascinating is because they want to kind of recreate what it was like at the Last Supper, at the Passover, the final Passover of Jesus with the 12 disciples in the upper room. In this presentation, I take you back to what the Gospels tell us about the actual accounts of the Last Supper, but also try to look at the words and the actions of Jesus through ancient Jewish eyes and through what Jewish tradition tells us about how the Passover was celebrated in the 1st century AD at the time of Christ while the temple still stood. And what you'll discover over the course of this presentation is that Jesus' Passover meal, on the one hand, was very similar to an ordinary Jewish Passover. You had multiple cups of wine, you had a Passover lamb, you gathered at night in the city of Jerusalem, you sang certain hymns from the book of Psalms in order to remember the Exodus, and so on and so forth. And yet, at the same time, what you'll also discover is that Jesus' Passover is no ordinary Passover. There's going to be several key differences that show that this is a new Passover, in which Jesus will focus the attention of the disciples not on the sacrifice of the lamb, but on the sacrifice of himself, of his body, of his blood, as the new Passover lamb of the new and everlasting covenant. Along the way, we'll also look at what psalms Jesus sang on the night he was betrayed, as well as what Peter and John did when they went into the city of Jerusalem in order to prepare the Passover lamb, and how the Passover lambs in the temple were actually slaughtered in the shape of a cross. These and many other revelations about the night of the Last Supper will prove very powerful and very informative to us as Catholics who try to enter into more deeply the mystery of what the Mass really is and how it's connected to both the Last Supper and Calvary, the cross. And to sum it all up, we'll look in particular at the question of what is known as the fourth Jewish cup of the Passover, and why it is that Jesus vowed on Thursday night not to drink again of the fruit of the vine, to drink of wine, and then on Friday afternoon from the cross, he asked for wine when he said, "I thirst." As we'll see, looking at the fourth cup of the Jewish Passover meal will give us a clue to how Jesus transformed the crucifixion, which would have looked just like a Roman execution to any Jewish observer, how he transformed that execution into a sacrifice, how he transformed that execution into a liturgy, how he transformed the crucifixion into the new Passover of the new Exodus, leading to the new promised land of heaven. So if you've ever wanted to understand more about the Jewish Passover Seder and what it was like at the time of Jesus, if you ever wanted to understand why the Eucharist is not just a meal, but a sacrifice, then this Bible study on the fourth cup and the new Passover is perfect for you.